It's time for the Daily Stand Up Podcast presented by AgileDad with your host, Lee Henson. Without any further ado, let's get started. So, I've had some people ask me recently about some leadership questions, but I thought it would be good to just kind of give an overview episode on this Friday Agile, Not So Agile episode of the Daily Stand Up Podcast. I wanted to talk about 8 behaviors that lead people to lose trust in you. And I think this is interesting because, I've spent a long time building trust in people, helping people the best I could so that they could be relatable and so they understood what I was trying to do and so everyone was on the same page. But let's talk about these things that you need to avoid. The first one I'm going to call boundaryless freedom. And let me explain what I mean by that. So, when you're making decisions, sharing information, or any other form of communication, boundaryless freedom leads to distraction and confusion. Trust breaks when people don't get the context and the clarity they need to do well. So, if I give you examples, empowering people without giving them tools necessary to succeed, or not providing clarity on decisions they can make on their own, and ones that need your involvement, right? So, sharing too much information or hiding information that they may need to be successful. If you're doing this to your children, to your spouse, to others, that's called boundaryless freedom, and it's definitely a way to lose trust, and lose trust quickly you will. Okay, what about the next one? Next, number 2 on my list is avoid confrontation. So, avoiding conflicts does not build relationships. In essence, it destroys them. Refusing to handle bad behavior or address bad behavior, not saying things that others need to hear, or leaving difficult conversations open for way too long doesn't please anyone. It makes everyone upset. In fact, it annoys them. So if you can get out of sugarcoating your message and say what you need without hesitation and really just drive forward with that, I think that those are the keys that are going to help you really be successful. So we need to get in the habit of getting past that. So some examples of this are let go of bad behavior in a team, or avoid sharing real feedback to save others' feelings, even though it prevents them from really progressing or growing, or making excuses to avoid facing a conflict and hope it'll just go away on its own. That's all avoiding confrontation, right? We need to get past that. Okay, here comes number 3. So number 3 is acting as a know-it-all. Now this one's interesting. So when you try to pretend you don't know something, or refusing to say I don't know, or sharing solutions without properly listening to the problem, you may not see it, but everyone hates the person who always has the right answers. Uh, it's hard to form meaningful connections unless you're also willing to share vulnerability. Vulnerability is not a sign of weakness; it's a sign of strength. Others can see when you're faking it, trying to make it, and whether you really know something. And faking kills trust. Let's just face it, like we absolutely are. So, this one's probably one of the hardest ones because we want to make sure we establish the trust, but at the same time, it's real easy to lose the trust if you pull out the fake it till you make it attitude, right? That's not going to work. Okay, so far we got boundaryless freedom, avoiding confrontation, and acting as a know it all. Number 4, becoming a naysayer. Some of the things you'll notice about this is when you can't let go of a minor feedback, even with a perfectly great outcome, or pass offensive comments with the expectation and it will set others right, or keep bringing up how the project will fail, even though it has a very high chance of success. If you constantly look for negative things in your life without highlighting the positive, you're going to have negative results. It just drains everybody around you's energy. When you speak negatively about other people, especially in front of someone else, it makes them think that you'll speak about them that way at some point too in front of someone different. So if negativity is what you seek, then negativity is what you're going to get. There's no place for trust to set in and really make a difference. You need to look for a brighter way of going about things. How about wavering back and forth? Ooh, that's a big one. And this one really reduces trust quickly. If you ask your team to prioritize X one week and then say, how are you doing on Y the next week, while leaving X open and just hanging there, this could be a way to really violate trust, or squeezing in too many items into your plans because you can't make up your mind on which thing you want to do that's most important, or pushing your family to hurry up on delivery and then putting that goal on the backseat to make space for quality. Like I said, there's a bunch of things you could do here, but being indecisive about the goals of your team or being indecisive of the goals of your family without constantly shuffling priorities leads to a ton of stress, frustration, and anxiety for all parties involved. All the effort that goes into doing the work turns into pain. So you're constantly moving targets. This leads to you not being able to be trusted, right? So there's a lot of validation and a lot of credibility there. You just need to make sure that you understand. All right, let's go to our next one. Our next one's playing the victim. So the delivery got delayed because we didn't get the requirements on time, or we've done our work, it's integration with another team that's taking longer, or our pitch is perfect, they just don't get it. When you're blaming someone else or something else for your problems, it might seem comforting to you at first, but it doesn't help you achieve your goals, and it comes across as you're someone who plays the blame game. Feeling that situation is out of your control continues to make you obsess about the problem as opposed to finding a viable solution. So if the victim mindset becomes your thing, you're starting to spread that feeling of helplessness and hopelessness within the team, and the team can't trust you. They can't rely on you to solve problems. So you need to get past that as quickly as you can. Don't play the victim. What about the concept of overpromise and underdeliver? Everyone will soon get a new MacBook Pro, but no one ever does. Or I'll take care of it while you do nothing and the problem still persists. Or, we'll see is my favorite one with my kids, right? And then nothing ever happens. When you make a promise but you don't fail to follow through on whatever, for whatever reason, what we said earlier is that you're not going to do the things that you said you were going to do, but don't leave it hanging. Reset the expectations. Nothing breaks trust more than not doing what you say you're going to do, right? If you don't follow through on commitments, that's going to level trust. It's just going to knock it completely out. Especially when you say one thing and do something completely different. Oh my goodness. It just makes things worse. So don't start doubting your intentions and only say what you're going to do and do what you say, right? Next, you have talking a talk without walking the walk. So speaking at length about the importance of a healthy work-life balance, or then sending emails late at night and asking people to work weekends, or telling a family member to focus on the task at hand while pinging them every hour to learn about how close are you, where are you. If this is you, start following a different set of standards. If you're following a different set of standards for yourself and others, change that up and put yourself on the same standard as everyone else. You shouldn't be inconsistent or unpredictable. Those things all lead to distrust. I think the big key here is that a lot of this has to do with people's desire to feel valued, and people need to be energized to work harder, and people need to persist through some difficult situations that take more time. And there are other times where we're just spot on, ready to go, and we can be focused on what's at hand. And I think that if you have that trust in place, it's really going to help you build on all those things. And it's going to help you be a better person at home and at work. All right. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have a topic you want us to cover, learn more at AgileDad.com. We'd love to hear from you. As always, we encourage you to stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. Until next time, do take care.